Hi, it's Tony, your Pop-Pop's Workshop, and today we're doing 5 tips you already know. Yes, I'm aware you probably know all of these, but I'm going through them anyway for the just in case. Maybe there's one in here that you don't know, and maybe there's a super secret bonus tip in here. Who knows? But follow along, and we'll give you 5 tips that you already know. Okay, so now we're on to tip 1 of things you already know. Obviously, everybody's aware of blade and bit maintenance, but sometimes you're like, how do I do that? What do I got? Well, you can start with something as simple as a old beat up pizza pan. As long as the wife doesn't know about it, you're okay. If she does, make sure it's old and beat up. Don't blame me. So a simple cleaner in there. You can throw your blade in there, little toothbrush, and that's how we started off. But we have upgraded to the Blade Clean from Microjig. Now this system has got everything you need in it. You've got this holder for both helping to take the blade off of your saw and to put it into the bath that's in here. Take off the lid, set it aside. So this is just filled with enough liquid to keep that submerged. You put your blade in there and scrub it back and forth by turning with that handle. Flip it over, repeat, and if you need to get a little more aggressive with it, it's got a brass brush, and that is really good for not damaging anything, but getting in there and really getting all that pitch and resin and all the stuff on there. And you'll find that a blade that you thought you needed to sharpen, you just needed to clean. So if you include regular maintenance on blade cleaning and bit cleaning, you're going to save yourself a lot of scorch marks and burn marks. And some wood's going to burn anyway, but this is going to make sure that if it wouldn't have burned, you're not going to get a burn. So there's where we store our router bits into a solution well there. So it's all self-contained. As long as I remember not to tip this too far when I'm setting it down somewhere, I don't ever have to worry about refilling it until it gets really nasty. So the other thing is, when you've cleaned a blade like this or a bit like this, you might want to try to get a hex key in there and take that bearing off before cleaning and then put it back on after. Although, if you're as negligent in cleaning as sometimes I have been, that really is kind of on there, and trying to take it off, you could snap that, and that's just going to mean the end of the bit. So I just go ahead and clean it like I normally would, knowing that I'm going to get a little bit of the grease out of the chase in there, which is going to make that burn out faster. So what I do then is I take my little Bow Shield thing here, and it's got a nice little cap on it that opens up, and it just gets a little bit of drop of lubrication in there. And then I'll just put that back in the holder, let that work in there, and now I've re-lubricated what I've taken out with cleaning, which is very important, especially for those bearing bits. You want to keep those lubricated. And in between sharpenings, you can take something simple like this. It's a 300 grit and a 600 grit, 300 one side, 600 on the other. And it's just a matter of keeping it there, putting your blade in there, and just, it's a diamond blade, so it doesn't need water or anything, just kind of keeping it a little bit sharper. And it just takes enough off to knock down the burrs and some of the nicks to lengthen the time between sharpening. So that's good. I don't know how to sharpen. And with a circular saw blade, unless you have a specialty tool, you just need to take them somewhere. Fortunately, our local Woodcraft offers a sharpening service, so I can just run those in there for a little bit of nothing. I can get my blade sharpened up when it's not just a matter of clean. And in between, I'm always cleaning it afterwards, dry it off, put some Bow Shield water lubricator on there, water disperser and lubricator, put that on, wipe it in, store your blade or put it back in to go, and you're ready to go. All right, that brings us to tip 2, which is push blocks, not push sticks. Now, while there might be very specific times when a push stick is usable, most of the time, this you can get rid of. You can either make a push block. There's lots of designs out there for simple ones, ones you can buy online, some very cool ones. One's got some missing fingers on it, shape. It's quirky. I like it. I like quirky. Sue me. So what I choose to do is get my stuff from Microjig. If you can see, that is where I have misjudged where I'm pushing through on a cut. That would have been my fingers. and I don't have a saw stop, so that would have meant missing fingers. So this has kept me safe from my own misjudgments. The other thing I like about it is I can keep pressure down and over as I'm moving through the cut. So whether it's something this size or even one of these very simple cut to go, ready to go zip micro jig grippers, this gets really close to the fence and you can cut some pretty narrow stuff there. If I flip this around, that's really narrow. And on this, I have a very narrow one over here. They even make narrower ones than this that you can put on. This can be bolted on. I can replace these anytime I want. So having this versatility where once I've chewed this up and I need a new one, I just take this part off, buy a new part, and I've still got this. So it's a lot cheaper. With a wooden one, you just throw it away and make yourself a new one. So a push block is disposable, sacrificial, finger saving. So for those that don't have a saw stop or even do have a saw stop, push blocks over push sticks. Tip 3 might seem obvious, but if you are a wood hoarder and you're just starting out and people offer you free wood, you're going to say yes. And you're going to load your car and you're going to bring it back to your shop. And then you're going to realize, tip 3, plan out your lumber storage before you hoard lumber. Otherwise, you end up with this. But wait, there's more. And this, that's somewhat organized because I actually got that after I'd already brought in lumber. And then this, again, sort of organized because I had a cart that was around that I could put together and throw in here. But that, and then underneath here, we've got that. Pardon the mess. I'm just all over the place with projects and whatnot. And then even a couple of little spots there. And I have to admit, it is, yeah, it's flowing out into the garage. Yeah, so I've got more out in the garage. So plan ahead of time and set up your storage systems before you say yes to every free lumber deal that comes along. Tip 4, have air filtration. I'm not talking about dust collection. I'm talking about air filtration. All the micro dust that your dust collection is not going to get. You'll see it just kind of settles down and fine dust everywhere. So the obvious start is you grab a box fan, lots of cubic feet per minute. You slap an old air filter on there. You can see how nasty that one is. You can peel it off, put it back on a new one, and you can go through filters quite frequently, or you can take them out and blow them off. And that is the other thing. You really want to blow this thing out on a regular basis outside so that you're not burning out the motor. They're cheap, but it's just a fire hazard if you don't keep it kind of cleaned out. The upgrade is obviously something like what we have up here. We've got this is the smallest one. We'll probably upgrade at some point to a bigger one, but it's got a nice remote. So I can go different fan speeds on this, and I can have a time delay. So I can set the timer for this to go off on an hour, shut off after an hour, or 2 hours, or 4 hours. So when I leave the shop, what I need to do is I need to make sure that my air filtration is running for a while after I've gone to catch all that light stuff that's floating in the air. To do that, I need a remote or a timer. With this, I have to just leave it on and then come back in later. Remember to come back in later, not always an easy thing, and turn it off. So air filtration should be one of the first things you do, first things you set up rather in your shop. Which brings us to tip number 5, set up some kind of clamping system on your bench. It can be dog holes, T-track, or what we use is the micro jig dovetail system. So I just got the bit and I cut, haphazardly, not the cleanest, mind you. It was my first time doing it and I was using an underpowered router, so it didn't turn out really good. However, I still have the ability to clamp in different directions, and I can use these great micro jig clamps. I can even use my simple Wood River track clamps. So if you have clamps for your saw, track saw, I'll figure the word out one of these days, your track saw track, they'll work in this system as well. So that adds a little versatility. You're like, I can't afford those expensive clamps. These are really inexpensive and perfect for clamping down different boards. You clamp it down, doesn't move. I can route with it. I can saw with it, whatever I need to do. Plus, it does double for clamping down my track saw track anywhere I want it. So That would be my fifth tip. Make sure that you have some kind of clamping system on your assembly table to make your life a lot easier. Okay, and for those that stuck around, the super secret bonus tip, track saw. I know it might not be blowing your mind right now, but a track saw, in my estimation, is a very early purchase, especially in a small shop. Or you maybe can't have a full-size table saw and you want to try to break down sheet goods on a job site saw. That's suicide, trying to break down sheet goods. You could use a straight edge and clamp it down or use a circular saw. That's time consuming. People go, track saws are expensive. This is the Wen version. This is the larger saw, but the larger saw and the tracks, I think, are only around $250 for a couple tracks and a 7¼ inch plunge cutting saw that rides on rails. So I am in love with what track saws bring to the shop, especially a small shop like this. I've been able to cut up full-size sheet goods into panels and usable parts with this, and then fine-tune them on the table saw where they're much more manageable, and more manageable means safer. Anything you can buy to make you safer in the shop should be high in your priority of buy things, well before the, oh, that's cool, buy things. Track saws are both, oh, that's cool, and this is a health and life saver in what it does in the shop. So bonus tip is get a track saw. It doesn't have to be expensive, but definitely get it as soon as you can in your shop. All right, 5, 6 tips you already knew. Probably most of you are going to say, yeah, I do that already. But there might be a couple of guys out there found this information useful for whether it's, cleaning, maintenance on your blades and bits, getting a track saw, using a clamping system, lumber storage. Oh my Lord. Push blocks, not push sticks, or proper air filtration. Whatever it is, hopefully you can implement these or are already implementing them in your shop. If you are, let me know. If you're not, let me know. If there's a tip I missed, let me know. If you found any of this useful, every YouTuber says like, subscribe, all the good stuff, comment, whatever you want to do, we appreciate it. And we're thankful that you just took your time to sit here and watch us ramble about 5 tips, 6 tips you already knew. Thank you for watching. And as always, remember, you can do this.